Right, we have a CB today, and it's a Manor Kestrel, and the customer says it's working, but he wants a tune-up. So what does he say? Oh, just for tune. He's also sent in a Eurosonic ES200 handheld, so we'll get on with that one no doubt next week, unless it rains so much that we do CBs. We've got a radiogram coming, HMV 2419, which was the last one they did of the Stereo Master series, and it's bizarre. It's been turned into a trinket box and it needs turning back into a radiogram. So we've got that, and I'm going to have to clear down the work table in the chapel of organ pipes just to get on with taking the electronics out of that. Mr. Chipper can do that. We've got another radiogram coming in from Austria next week, so there you go, and that's the record player only version, the HMV 2318, something like that, 2018. Anyway, it's about 1966, that one. Right, so here we are with the Manor Kestrel, which is the UK 4000, Serpent UK 4000, also the LCL Communicator 9440DX, and the other one as well, which eludes me at this moment. And it's coming with the original power lead. He's going to sort that out. There's a bit of tape on it. I think he thinks the wire's a bit thin, but it does only draw 1 amp, usually. And it's coming with the original mic, and it's got a screw missing out of the plug, which we'll be able to deal with. So it's not often you get the original power leads with this, and it's in very nice condition. And I like these radios, even if all you don't. Though I do know one person out there who lives not a million miles from me, about 28 miles away at Bourne, who also likes these. I'll tell you what, before we start taking any screws out, let's see how it works. As in how well it works. So, I'll put picture in picture on. There, I've done that. And on his piece of paper, the gentleman's in Scotland. So this is, I need to put LCL Communicator, Manor Kestrel. Right, here goes. Transmit. So I'm on the 3 watt scale. So full scale deflection would be 3 watts. And we've not quite got full scale deflection, it's 2.8 watts. Now they don't often do 4 watts these sets, so don't, it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, 2.6 on that scale. So that's fine. Deviation, 1, 2. Must be in. I must have been using this on another band because I've got nothing on the deviation meter. 1, 2. Walla. Oh dear, it's doing 5. 5 kilohertz deviation. So that's a no-no. I'll put a cross there because it's something we will be able to improve on, even if it's 0.1 of a watt. Just check we're at 13.8 volts, which we are. And at the moment it's drawing 1.07, just over the 1 amp on transmit. Let's see what it is on frequency. Now the test set's only been on 5 minutes, so we'll take what it says with a bit of a pinch of salt. It needs to have been on half an hour. I'm about to go and do a shopping job in town, 8 miles away, for one of our elderly church members, and by the time I come back in 2.5 hours this will have warmed up nicely. So that's why we thought we'd get the preliminary things done. Let's look at sensitivity. I mean, that's fair enough. Let's look at sensitivity. So make sure that the RF gain's up. We'll have the tone pretty high. I can already hear the signal generator, and it's parked at 0.3 of a microvolt. So put the synod meter on, and let's have a look at what that says. Well, at the moment, Well, I hope I don't fix this worse. It's 0.72. Just out of interest, it's 1.2 for 20 dB, and for 10 it's 0.68. So there we go. That's jolly good. I might be able to remember the transmit tune-up, but I won't be able to remember the receive one because it's a bit more unusual on these sets. So I think the only kind of radio this is going to sound decent to, with it doing 5 kHz deviation, is a Fidelity 1000 or something as wide as a barn door. Otherwise, it's going to be very distorted on on the peaks. Let's get the speaker soldered. Let's turn the power off. Put that out of the way. When I first saw these back in 1981, and I saw they had a relay in them, I thought, oh my goodness, they're going to be building relays every 6 months. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever changed any relay in one of these. And new sets, brand new sets, half of them use relays, so it's like gone backwards. You know, we had the Maxon chassis and the Cybernet chassis with no relays, and the Uniden chassis. But and some of the kind of also rans like this, you know, they've got relays in, and I thought it was a thing of the past. So is that the detector coil under that? I really can't remember. So the transmit changes glasses. We're basically going up this signal path here. I'm going to pause the video and just see if we can find the service notes. Right, we'll see where we can, what we can get with the transmitter. I've just done a photo, we'll fill that in. We can fill in that. And that. And that. And that. And that. And that for starters. I'm just working from this at the moment. Right, so into transmit, we're on channel 20. Make sure the camera's on that, which it is. So we'll stay on the 3 watt scale and just see whether we can bring that up a bit. I think we got another 100 milliwatts out of it. Ooh, look at that. 3 watts. Change scales. These have that snowflake stuff on them, and I don't want to break them. That's moving. That isn't moving. So that's about 3.1. I'm just concerned that the coil under here, I'm just concerned that the core's actually broken. That's the trouble with things like snowflake and paint and stuff. You know, at least with the wax, it's more readily removable. This is now in the threads. Ironically, it's probably in the right position anyway. No, I've broken it. Oh no, I've broken my ceramic tool. Oh, great. Now I've not broken the core. Anyway, I'll key up and see if we're anywhere near. No, I do need to get that up that thread a bit to prove that we're in the right position. I'll just see if isopropyl alcohol will disperse that. Enough to prove that we're in the best and optimal position. So I didn't break the core, I broke the tool. I've snipped the end off and it's serviceable once again. So basically we've got a good 3 out of it, about 3.2. Now you can mess with the ballast resistors, but I've never done that. Right, onto the power meter. Can I remember which is which? Of course I can't. Probably that one at the back. It is. And we've still put that on the 4 even though we know the radio's doing 3.2. It's psychological. Just mark that. do the low power, so I'll switch the radio to low power, wherever that is. Oh, it's at the back. So onto the other scale, and it's now doing 180 milliwatts. So low power is that one. That's now spot on 400 milliwatts. And then to deal with the transmitter fully, we'll do the deviation, which was absolutely miles out, far too high. If I remember where it is. Wallow, 1 to wallow. Still a bit high. One to wallow, 1 to wallow. That's 2.5 maximum now, which is where it should be. Can't be transmitting on several channels at once. Good, so that's where we are with the transmitter. So I'll go and do this shopping job. This has already been on half an hour now, so we'll just see where we are with the frequency just before we wrap it up for this session. So 27,79138, it's slightly high. It really doesn't matter, but I will just do it. There we are, we'll leave it at 128. Okay, we'll move on to this receiver now. So it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll switch that oscilloscope on and we'll start off by putting an S9 equivalent signal on and switching that camera over to the oscilloscope and turning the bench light off. And let's see whether we can do the detector, because it is a bit funny on these sets. And it's the one, it's L17, which is up there. We can get the now broken tool in. In actual fact, it's out. I'm just going to turn the gain up on the oscilloscope rather than turn the volume up. A bit finicky, this one. So you've got a tendency to put pressure on the coil. That's it. That's it. I don't know whether the injection one can be seen at this point. L10. This is another of these funny adjustments on these sets. No, I can't see that at this stage. Right, so we'll go to the cyanide meter, switch the oscilloscope off. And we'll put the signal down till we get about 4 dB. We'll start with L11. So no improvement with that one. No discernible improvement with that one. Change tools. L13. Quite an improvement with that. We'll drop the attenuator. You'll now be able to hear another 20 yards. L14. No improvement that I can see. L15, no improvement that I can see. Drop the attenuator, see whether we can get any change with L10. Yes, we can. So that's the amount of 10.24 injection that goes into the receiver. So, having done that, let's see whether we can see any change in the cyanide reading. So, let's set that so we get 12. That's about 12. And let's look at what I wrote down before. So it was 0.72 and it's now 0.72. So for 10 dB it was 0.68. It's now 0.68. I wonder if we've improved the 20. No, I don't think it has. It's 1.2 just the same. So this has made no discernible difference. I know in my mind that it's set right, but the receive sensitivity is no improvement from how it arrived. So far, the deviation was too high. We've sorted that. The frequency was virtually spot on, and although I've adjusted it, it's neither here nor there. It's now a bit closer, but it wasn't out anyway. The transmit was doing, was it 2 point, what did it say on the piece of paper? 2 point something? 2.8. It's now doing 3.2. So we'll have a look at this meter. So we'll put S9 on the signal generator. Put the right glass on. I might be able to see the needle. Oh, it says plus 30 there. Well, it isn't. So we'll just go back to the notes. It's the preset just there. It's raining outside. So that's that set. So I think it leaves us with the squelch now. So I'm going to set the squelch to full, and what I want to happen, I'll just put this on to the attenuator. So what I want to happen is when we get to 100 microvolts, which is an S9 equivalent, I want the squelch to open. So I've turned the squelch to full. So at the moment we're on 0.3 of a microvolt. There's 1 microvolt, 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts. So here comes the crunch. Does it open as 100? It does. It's spot on. Do you know, it's almost as if this is a set I've serviced in the past. And I did do a Manor Kestrel a couple of years ago. Right. If the squelch had needed adjusting, then the preset is just there. And it's VR2. So that's it. We're actually all done. But I'm sure it's nice for the customer to know that it is spot on. The RX light is lit. The TX light is lit. And we'll get our little receiver and just make sure that we've got, I'll turn that down, just to make sure we've got the Roger bleep working. Yep. Or not working. Yep. Good. Oh, I'm pleased about that. It's nice set. I'll just turn it off a moment, and we'll just check which is negative on the speaker. I say it doesn't matter an iota, but I must have been getting OCD off Mr. Chippy. He even checks light switches to make sure they're off, even though he knows the lights are off. So, speaker leads. I would expect the black one's going to go to chassis. There we go. We're going to get a bonus set in, I think, tomorrow. Not this customer's. We've got a realistic 1010 to do, which is a CPT only, but flagship handheld from Tandy's. We've done one before, but a question has arisen, and so we're going to do another one. And I haven't put the soldering iron on. So we can fill in, while I wait for the soldering iron to arrive at its correct heat. We can fill in some of these colouring bits. I missed out as a child. I obviously didn't get enough colouring books. So you wouldn't know that was there, and you wouldn't know that that was there. We'll attribute that to the transmit, and that's the VCO, which I don't know where the yellow pen is. So what else is there? We've got the RF meter at the back. That's low power. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. Oh, have we done deviation? No, that preset there is deviation. Right, so there we are. I'll put everything away. Oh, Planet 2000 was the one I hadn't thought of. That can join the other mug shots. Right, we'll get that speaker soldered on. And yes, I have noticed that bit of solder's fallen on the cone. Good. Well, that seems a nice set. I think I've got a Manor Kestrel on the shelf myself, and I may do it. Might do mine next week while you've all kind of got this in your memory, and we'll see how mine works out. It's interesting when you do that because it's like with the Cybernet 134 chassis. You can end up with one that's 1 microvolt for 12 decibel synad, and then it just meets the spec, and then the next one does 0.27 microvolts for 12 decibel, and you get the same goes with the transmit. You get one, and as you're tuning it up, it does 5.5 watts, and then of course you turn it back down to the specified level, but that's what I'm getting at. It's capable of 5.5 watts, or probably for about 5 minutes, and then you get a next one, and the absolute maximum you can coax out of it is 3.9 watts. Well, that's tolerance, isn't it? I'm sure if you buy several motor cars all the same, they're going to do different fuel economies and different acceleration rates. I won't say top speed because that would be daft. Right, there we go. So now we will plug it into the roof aerial and find that we can't hear anybody because we're in the middle of nowhere. People do ask about the aerial here, and for serving this room is a Antron 99 type without the ground plane kit. This is a single story building and it's mounted just above gutter height because it's an 18-foot aerial and the tip of it barely even overcomes the roof. So it's mounted at gutter level, so it's only about 12 feet off ground level, and it's the worst aerial here. We've got let's see, we've got we've 4 CB aerials here, and this is the worst one, and it's deliberately been set up for those tests so that it is the worst one. Okay, here we go. 19 Roger. You're joking. I'll put the Roger bleep on to coax him out. 19 Roger. No, there we go. So it's what day is it? Tuesday. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon, and there's nobody. I'll just check that speaker works. Yes, it does. Right, we'll do a test with Mr. Chippy later on. So we've got a realistic 1010 handheld, which is CPT only one. That's probably tomorrow. About Monday we'll do this customer's other repair, which is a Eurosonic ES200 handheld, and we've currently got a HMV Stereomaster 2419 in from a London customer, so that's been turned into a trinket box, and we've got to turn it back into a radiogram. And then next week we've got one coming in from Austria, 2018 I think it is, and that's all between the church organ. So thanks for watching the Manor Kestrel from 1981.